less grip than it does tonight or tomorrow when we fire off. So these crew chiefs are going to talk themselves into it. I think we can sneak.
Alright guys, here we are.
Pace gets whipped up. We're going to be in the post stop even more.
So this is the new map.
Specifically for me, if I'm a driver, I'm out here and I'm not.
Um,
I'll say, man, you know, this place, we're kind of around the same lap time, the tires are holding up. I really want to know how this thing runs on top. You know, we're not seeing them able to move up right now. There's a second move up.
Alright. So off camera I was working on the
it might be short-term validation if you're in the top 10, top 15, but if you don't, if you're going to experiment with lane 2 or 3, you might not know what.
Great Vineyard. I was actually in the middle of trying to spread lime on this. Because they were saying it needed lime, so I figured, okay, I'll start spreading lime on it. Not as easy as because let me move down to my other tractor. See if I can. I'm gonna disconnect this because this tractor is actually too big to go into the in the road. So I'm going to see if I can use the small tractor.
So everybody has their own little way to do that. It's interesting to hear the difference of those downshifts.
I know you guys said you like Blaney.
The lime spreader does not hold very much lime at all. When you start spreading it, it runs out.
I was talking to Ryan Priest this morning, and he said, well, you're not going to see me at the top of the sheet, because I'm not going to fire this thing off and just full commit. Now, we're already about host score. Look at the first few laps.
So, I'm going to give this one go real quick. Put it down.
The team is confident that he can go out there and pass his lap of the day. It's 2 weeks in a row at the top of the sheet in practice. But we've also seen Ryan Priest. It's funny, he's like,
I mean, even a small tractor is almost too big to go in, but it works.
he's going to go really at 77 Camaro to 1, and you don't really think twice about it. I want to see my number at the top of the sheet. I don't know.
But according to the information, it was saying it was ready to harvest, but there's no grape spawn on the vines, so there's nothing to harvest. I had already tried to run a harvester on along them, and I'm not getting nothing in the harvester. So
don't try this.
What does Texas A&M University stand for? We stand for excellence, respect, and loyalty. We stand for leadership, integrity, and selfless service. We stand for 4 straight hours. We stand up for others. We don't stand by, and we won't stand still.
So what I'm going to try to do is put the spreader on here with the weight and see if it works. And when I tried to do that last night, I had an issue because the spreader was actually too heavy for the tractor. So I'm see if the weight will work on holding the spreader on there. No, actually, I already have a weight on there.
Last night, she has the Xfinity races tonight. Tomorrow, NASCAR on Prime is the air 6:30 Eastern with the Cup cars. And next week we go to the Michigan Truck Show there Eastern on Fox Saturday. NASCAR on Prime has the Cup cars Sunday afternoon in the Agroforest. They're not ready for Group 2 practice, but hey, I noticed something there during the break. You win 5 Xfinity races here, they give you a nice golf shirt, huh, Carl? I mean, he is representing this weekend. Hey, I'm not a good shopper.
So far this does work.
It fits nice, and
So far I'm already getting stuck.
yeah, I hate to admit how many shirts I have. I got like 3 shirts to wear, and so this is one.
We should have put on some pants too. It's not wearing it.
I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here.
Okay, this is a family show. For the record, double A, he does have shorts on.
Shorts.
I'll clear that up.
I would say we call him concrete car, we call him cousin Carl. As it turns out, if it's free, it's for me, right? And here's how he got the name. So good, this place didn't matter. Xfinity trucks were
I'm trying not to use too much.
See, those are the days. I didn't have to pick a shirt. You just wear the plastic. This was so much fun. We come here, we run well.
You can see I'm already empty.
Go out in the crowd. So many fun fans here. It's special.
Yeah, I was afraid we were going to show all of this. We were going to miss this whole group of practice.
right. Yeah, it's time for qualifying on Friday.
Interesting, the mix of cars, because we kind of jumped up finish, we've already seen, Hostbar, Gibbs, LaJoy, have already on their system. Hostbar, Gibbs, and Larson already on the racetrack, so see this group has a better of a racetrack, but it's about the same.
LaJoy loves the fact that you can get Larson.
See if I can fill it up from here. Don't look like it. So I won't have to back up toward the truck more.
Obviously, when they put it back through, you heard Marty say he didn't pass the first time, which will assume he passed when he went to pit road and then didn't pass the next time, so it had to be some sort of issue. Caution on the racetrack. The 8th, Kyle Busch is around the grass.
I'm amazed.
Well, I was thinking about that. So the bump was not the direct cause of the spin, but he's talking about how loose he is as he heads off into the turn.
Come on.
It just seems like if it can go wrong, it does go wrong for the 18th. But on the other side of that,
Alright, let's try this again.
15 points look at that playoff cut line. So if they can do anything at all to find it in the second half of the regular season, then they can put themselves in a pretty good spot to make the playoffs.
They're still in, only 14 points out. So it looks pretty fun here.
See, if the precision farming would actually work right, the spreader would actually quit spreading.
It was loose before the bump. That was right around the middle of the corner where the car actually comes around. I would say this too. I'm really impressed.
So that way you're not using so much product when you're doing this.
Years in his career. And this is not easy to remain, calm, not letting your emotions get the best of you. He's got to talk to me every single week, and he still remains committed to finding a way to keep our star back in victory lane. I'm really, really impressed with that because we have never seen him go through something like this. I don't think he has ever went through anything like this in terms of struggling with type of thing from last week with the steering rack, this week to really spin out with the balance being off the car. His ability to sort of stay up and down and have
I do have more lime at the store. I just had to go get it from the store.
We're seeing this in the second group. Do you think
And I'm already out.
you got a good look at, what their travels, workloads, all those things, those things, trying to do things, trying to get more out of, I wonder if I would just attack me earlier, because we're right on more regular fairly draw. cars in the second practice, they have information from the first practice. They make adjustments.
I do not own that second one. I only have own this first one.
Two big moments. Wow, that bump. You know, that bump sort of sets the car sideways. You lose traction. Really isn't any room to say this next gen car has such a small window of forgiveness. Once it does step out, there's not much driving to do.
Say this, the grass is playing nice. You know, last week we had the turf, so you kind of anticipate you could be sliding through the front straightaway, infield, and the ball field, and get away with it. Here, I mean, just anybody's guess. You see some divots down there, you see the storm drain, but the reality is for two cars to go down through there and not just tear a splitter off as it hurt.
Well, and this is just made this practice. They've gone out, heat cycled the tires, caution. You've had a couple different times. That ruins kind of the read on that first set of tires. Let's listen into the 24.
What's going on out there? I'm not sure. 21 just got a little free way before the heat did, but he kept it straight. I guess the ball was good. He fixed it. Yeah, I was honestly surprised that didn't happen in that first session.
Yeah, we'll go on to the store and
I'll be careful first.
get some more lime. I did buy a plot for cutting down trees, so I'm actually in the process of working on that too. So I probably made a little bit of money on doing that.
What about it, Trevor?
Well, Adam, you know, before practice, talking to the teams, they were all concerned about their speed off of turn 2. How can we get the gas earlier? But now with fighting back, there shows bumps. Talking to the person who was talking to the Lord, and I said, how was the bumps? And he said, I don't know, they were pretty good. I'm just a little free in. Ryan Blaney kind of said his car went good through a bump. So it seems like the guys who have the speed are going through there with no problem, whereas he's at 21 now having to check his car out as he's off the grass. Remember what Corey said. I thought he did a really nice job of explaining. As a crew chief, I can make the jump bumps are not an issue. They can drive like a dream over the bump. This is not just speaking about ride quality. So I can raise the car up on the stops, I can make the thing nice and snug and drive over the bumps, and you give me 2 thumbs up, and then you come and look at Patty and Sky, and then give me 2 thumbs down. And we'd have to lower the car back down to get in an optimal position aerodynamically for this end, where Ross Chastain is right now heading down to turn 1, the sliver end of the racetrack. I need that car right against the concrete. So Corey did a nice job of explaining on, you know, it can be awful, but it's not going to be comfortable.
By the way, NASCAR did add 4 minutes to this group's practice.
May actually end up having to get some more lime. Going through lime like crazy.
Talk about Trackhouse and Ross Chastain, what the week has been like. And the fact this is their home race with team owner Justin Marks living here in the Nashville area. This weekend they're making their 300th start as an organization. So across the board, when you think about the success, the wins that they've been able to put together, Ross winning the championship for Crown Jewel last week. I mean, they are doing so many things well. It's still in the infancy stages of this organization.
And it's great point. You know, what they've been able to do since coming into the series is fascinating. They came in with an incredibly unique approach to running and building a race team. And Ross,
Okay.
Daniel, they both have taken them to victory lane. They've made them contenders. And one of Ross's biggest races of his career last week, the 600, we saw the excitement and emotion from Ross around that win. But it is, you know, we
Good. Head back to the field and hopefully get the lime spread that we need.
this team had their
Get done.
close the performance, but overarching from start to finish for this organization, to come in and win races, so difficult competing against some of the established teams that have been here for decades. The mix and just very excited about the first, the record that we put in the jump on board, that was down the right. I had a dual issue last week, coming out of the running into the 700 start of the series this week. And
Davey Watts with his partner, so we're going on the levy as I'm over here. So it's kind of like this week is the weekend. So there's a lot going on in this 11 car. This 11 car is a fast car. Reese, Texas has an issue. Big fire from expired engine. This is a car that works so well. It's just odd when you see this. I know the clutch and hands going in and out of the box. Finally expired and it's trying to give up. And then here, they were trying to play it very, very close, trying to find a way to overcome that 24, and then again, not making a full force pit stop for the 11.
Talk about Davey Watts, Ryan Truex is on standby, ready to jump behind the wheel, and then he has to depart.
This has been such an interesting track for Davey. Every time that they've been here, the 4 Cup races we've had, I feel like he's had a winning car.
Let the ones around you.
Just doesn't have the results in Chastain because he's always in the mix of the battle late the race, trying to either taking the lead or being in position to win or battling Chastain or Chase Elliott or someone for the victory, but doesn't have a win in the win column. We're talking about changing that.
Group 2 bringing the heat, 8 of the top 10 right now in practice from this Group 2. And third on the board, Chase Elliott, who won this race 2022.
Yeah, this team has been very consistent this year. They're not getting the overall finishes that their teammate Kyle Larson is getting, but this has been a long-form sort of story of improvement. Since he had that injury and was out of the car just a couple years ago, that team has not been the same. And I mean, Chase has been pretty vocal about how he feels he's had to change his style to adapt to this car, how this car will be driven. You just wonder how
Yeah, we'll move further up on the vineyard. We can not get stuck.
That's my team out there.
If our network goes down, lives are at stake.
Our comms have to work.
Or the mission won't.
That's why we partner with Verizon Frontline, the network that truly prioritizes first responders.
So we don't worry about getting through. And they're the most reliable 5G network in America. Out here, reliability is everything.
Stream or routine, Verizon Frontline delivers.
The #1 network choice in public safety. Learn more. Your mission is
My
our
tractor does not like climbing the hill.
American workers, restoring the pride of making products here at home. That's what we do every day. We're America's beverage companies, making American products with American workers in America's hometowns, delivering brands that have been enjoyed for generations, creating good-paying jobs.
Stuck already.
That require only a strong work ethic, because we believe in the promise of America and the people who make it great.
We all have moments too important to miss. Moments that are first adventures. Moments that are worth making one more stop. Moments that are worth another cup of coffee. Exxon and Mobil stations are here to fuel all those moments. Our premium products, industry-leading technology, and friendly hospitality help you go the extra mile. So go on, take in that perfect moment. We'll be right there with you. Every mile, every day. Go on. Fuel up at Exxon and Mobil stations.
On Chewy, save 35% and shop all your favorite brands. For any taste or any diner, at prices you love, delivered fast.
It looks like lime is already spread through here.
For life for pets, there's Chewy.
So we'll have to move further up on the vineyard. Dude, come on.
Welcome to more action, more awesome, more smoke, more sizzle, more soar, more roar, more friends, more family. Welcome to the one place where no matter who you are, you'll leave with something you never forget.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay straight along the road, but it's obviously I'm having problems doing that. But the way we do this then we'll run the sub-server through here.
Those are the only 4 races for NASCAR's Cup Series, NASCAR National Super Speedway. Just outside downtown Nashville.
Of course, I'm out of line already.
Goes on to claim the championship 31st right now in Group 2.
Which is shocking after seeing just how great Lane was. You would expect a little bit more raw speed out of 22. And I would add that I think that this group has more pace overall, whether it's the group of cars or the track itself. But the top 6 are all from this group, which makes that 31st on the speed chart even worse for Logano. We mentioned how Allen has been strong here, but no wins. Brandon Cook looking really good right now. The Toyota's putting a good foot forward. There's a lot of strong cars. No Toyota wins in those 4 races that you showed us, Adam. They're working on it, Trevor. Yeah, keep in mind last year this 22 car really wasn't in contention.
Come on.
For the win until those late race cautions went back to fuel and then win this race. Talked to Joe Logano earlier. He got a last one, asked him about detailing the cars for Penske. But you can see that they've been struggling a little bit for speed. Joey's moving around the line. I asked him about Colin Presley. What can I do? Where's the speed at? Right now they feel like that speed is on entry to turn 3.
That has been a while, so it's been great. Come on. It's actually more frustrating than it is anything.
Because you have your routine. You know you're in Group 2. You know what it's bad. I'm trying to figure out where things are on the track and all that before you go out. And then the anxiety of not knowing if you're going to get track time and all that. How do you manage and compartmentalize all that if you're AJ?
Yeah, I just think you're worried more about what was the issue, right? And these cars are so detailed and they're fighting over, such fine measurements to be able to have an advantage, right? And so if you think, oh man, what's the why are the track is not through? It's not hard to get slowly. I had a really, AJ has had a very good stretch of races, had those stuff right there, that bump, that part of the track is, but AJ is in a really good position right now, point-wise. They got some great momentum. They're kind of turning things around in college, and it doesn't to ruin all of that. Even this little issue here, the stuff that kind of create a long weekend. Well, we see a mixed drivers between Group 1 and Group 2. It's really off last week's finishes. I'm looking at all the bigger great run, Brad May, being fifth. The Dow, Noah, those good runs are what motivated and moved these guys into different groups. It's kind of a metric, points, finishing positions, how you split up. So, and I think Group 2 is an advantage. Just I think the track's better. You have a whole group to look at, you mentioned the data out there, you have teammates to look at.
Here's Chase Briscoe coming off his 2nd consecutive top 5 finish, 3rd in the Cup 600. Best run of the year. And that was his 5th top 5 finish. How about the fact that this 19 season last year was Rex Wheel, and I know things did not go their way in his final full season. They had 5 top 5s throughout the entire 2024 season. It feels to me like Briscoe is finding his way to this group, and the scoreboard doesn't lie most of the time, did right now.
Whole last week, that tire roll the way it really got the team far behind. They finally recovered. Those are the ones who get stuff look good at that. You run up front all day long. Are you better off? Can you adjust your car to have a better finish? Great job recovering, which is what they did the early year. Now
Okay, I'm actually not going to worry about doing the rest. So,
Steve, you guys just talked about Brad Keselowski's 5th at Charlotte last week. The first top 10 of the year for this RFK.
we're going to go ahead and drop this.
As well. And I just talked to Jeremy Bollins, who also mentioned finally in Group 2 for Brad Keselowski when it comes to practice and qualifying.
I'm going to go over here and pick up the sub-server.
In the section coming up here in a little bit. And Jeremy told me about his unofficial math. This is just the 3rd time this year Brad has been in Group 2. And the first time since Phoenix in March. He said it's just such a massive advantage for us to have more knowledge of the racetrack, like you were talking about, Steve. now he said the goal is we have to continue that and qualify to keep ourselves in good food for the rest of the year because it honestly puts us behind for the entire weekend. First quarter.
Come on, stop.
Last year at this race, just didn't get the end result. A lot of people didn't get the end result. The takeoffs we had to finish. But this 16 turning the corner here at the turning point of the season, climbed themselves up through the rankings, but still way down the list in points. That's what drives the ring up. The challenge is you have to be making clean. The only way that 6 cars going to make the playoffs is either a historic comeback in the points to the left you've never seen, or wins the race. Let's take a look at AJ Allmendinger here going over this bump. 3 and 4. And that car in the bump just bounces the car loose. Corey and Carlin was talking about those bumps out there on the racetrack. Everybody's going to be struggling with that, especially in the race. Think about how difficult that'll be to track 2 or 3 car wide through that corner, trying to get to everybody looks up.
Allmendinger in deficit practice. Reddick, Campbell, Elliott, Byron, Briscoe, your top 5. It's NASCAR on 5 for next year.
What does Texas A&M University stand for? We stand for excellence, respect, and loyalty. We stand for leadership, integrity, and selfless service. We stand for 4 straight hours. We stand up for others. We don't stand by, and we won't stand still. At Texas A&M, we know what we stand for. Come stand with us.
Oh, I wish my TV provider let me choose what I pay for.
So I'd like to do that.
I wish my TV provider let me pause my subscription when I want.
So I'd like to do that.
And I think my TV provider can use hundreds of great channels when I pause.
Sweet, that you do that too. Cool.
Choose and customize your channel later or pause and watch for free. Slim lets you do that. Whoa, you guys.
I'm here for the past. Look, I need to pull out the third party.
I'm looking for a suit for my daughter.
I might be able to help you fellas out. Life is a journey. Youth Andy is the wardrobe that grows with you. Tailored for every milestone. Look your best, dress the win. Youth Andy.
Why would you want to do something that you know darn well?
Dale Earnhardt in car number 2 is a rookie to watch in this race. Dale Earnhardt is champion.
I never want to do anything else.
I admired how dedicated my dad was to racing.
We do it because we don't know any better. This is what we do.
It all comes down to this. Inside of 7 minutes to go, Group 2 practice, Nashville Superspeedway. For the top shelf in NASCAR, Tyler Reddick, the 45 for 2311.
See all the green chips next to the lap time. Those are all cars currently on the racetrack. That's basically organized here at the top. So it's hard to compare the 2 routes. I like plenty of route 4. This conversation during the break.
Throw a blanket over the screen down to this weekend? Yeah. Kind of like an A group and a B group. It's kind of like a good group and a bad group. Remember, the 9, 24, the 20, they're not too bad. They just need to find a little speed. AJ Allmendinger, who was held back, he's 11th on the board. He's actually in the top 10 for 10-lap average in season 8. So, looking at that team, wondering if that was going to be a massive setback. They seem to still have relative decent speed after what we saw were a couple of them the first few laps.
See the numbers from 2311. The last 5 races just got a little chilly, right? 0 top 5, only 1 top 10. That sled really tells the story of how competitive you are. Only 7. This right here was the holy moment last week. That's what I played a list.
So how's everybody doing today?
Amazing that he was able to keep going. And watch his onboard. After your left, William Byron, how far William Byron has to go down? You ask yourself how much this hurt Byron's chances to stay in front of the one. Not the credit,
Hopefully everybody's having a good weekend so far.
And that's the thing. that overcorrect. We saw a couple cars spin out in this practice earlier, and they just let the car go ahead and slide and spin down the track. But in competition, you have to do everything you can to try to save it. We saw several cars overcorrect back into the outside wall in turn 2 because the racket base is so fast. The steering is so much quicker in these cars. Even after several years now, we've had this car for a handful of years, and their muscle memory and understanding. They have been chasing the race car around and got really fast too. They still have those moments like that where they drive the car into the wall.
The eventful day continues for the 16 and A Dominator. First with inspection issues. Now listen to this right here. Corey talking about the shifting. It reaches over in what I expect to be a 4th or 5th gear shift. That looks like an upshift. And now remember, this isn't like an H pattern. There's not a neutral. You don't go through neutral. It's direct like a motorcycle. Neutral is kind of all the way forward with the shifter. So that sounded really odd. Like it didn't maybe go all the way into fifth and maybe would bounce back and forth between them. But you have to ask yourself, is there damage done to the gearbox? Is there damage done to the engine in some sort of over-rev or a situation like that? It sounded different as to go to the 60.
Is there some data that you can look at on that? I mean, you go back to that and say, hey, maybe this bad or maybe
I can go into
Yes and no. There
store
is
here.
data, but you have to, you just can't plug in every time the car comes in. You have to have their specific rules. Here at practice, you can plug in to get the data, but once you go to the qualify, you can't. So I'm sure the team will download it and make sure there's not a bigger issue for the 16. Trevor?
Well, Adam and Steve and Dale, you guys know about the SMT tool that we have, how important that is to drivers to compare. The shifting is something that everybody wonders about here. Should I go to 5th gear down the backstretch? Should I not? Well, that tool is down right now. Nobody has telemetry to look at any other team to see where they're getting on the throttle out, where they're shifting, and that kind of threw a lot of people into disarray. And again, back to those spotters to lean on them to see what they need.
It's like an open notes test and they threw away your notes, Trevor. That's not going to work.
Yeah, that's right. And I do want to touch on this 19 car here as well, Steve. He looked pretty good for that first 28 laps. You guys talked about the long run speed. Was able to run those 30 laps for a long time. At the end of that run, it felt a little bit harder than they wanted it to. I thought he was running up the track a little bit higher, but man, for 30 laps, they were pretty lights out.
I want to go back to last week. Steve referenced
Make this a little bit quicker, and I'll just say a lot bigger and easier. It's small, so it should fit through the roads just fine. So we'll run up to the store and go pick it up. We got some trees cut and money to make, so. So the one field that I had harvest barley on, I went ahead and sold it. So I really didn't like the fact of doing that on such a massive hillside. Eventually, when we get the grapes growing, we may go ahead and get a production for the grapes.
Feels up there, give up a little bit of lap time and hurt that overall. Everyone thinks they can be how tight the lap times are. It's literally half a 10 is 20 spots. If you have a 10, you go from 30 to 15. Nothing on this racetrack. Look,
there should be some pressure on all these drivers for qualifying. Because,
oh yeah.
I mean, and I broke the record. We say it every week, but I just go through the importance of track position. You think about the importance of pit road. It's all back to back. Go out and lay one down, and you can really make your spin a whole lot easier. At least start in front of the ball behind.
And you have to do that with so much confidence, you're going to be going faster over the bumps. You're going to load the car cars on the stops. Everything about that's going to be more comfortable because
Practice is done. Qualifying Reddick, Hampton, Elliott, Byron, Briscoe, all through to your top five.
Shady Rays sunglasses. Break them or lose them. Or replace them. Easy as that.
I was gonna need new shady rings tonight.
Let's get him another pair fast.
So far on the trees, I've cut at least 5 to maybe 8 trees down, and I had sold maybe three of them. So
Shady Rays, fighter that has your back.
Ever since we hired Jim Jr. and breakfast has been moving fast.
it's
Guided to Liberty Cave.
Hitting the open road is not just about the miles you travel. It's about the freedom you find along the way. Where relaxation embraces the spirit of discovery. Where technology seamlessly blends into the background. Where innovation meets dependable design. And home comforts are always within reach. Because life's best stories aren't written inside 4 walls. They're lived out here.
Racetrack to road. Level 1 motor oil to nickel 10 drive.
yeah, actually that's worked a whole lot better. Not only a lot quicker, but the soil looks better.
Are poised to shake up the standings down in Music City.
Alright, gang, here we go.
Tonight, the boys plays in Nashville.
It's gonna be a fun one.
Where seasoned vets hope to stay in the spotlight, while fast-rising rebels look to steal their thunder. The NASCAR Xfinity Series, live tonight from Nashville at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on the CW.
I thought I picked it up. I guess it
Welcome
didn't.
back to Nashville Super Speedway, getting ready for tomorrow's James Tracker Arrow 400. The nighttime will be the right time. Just trying to figure out who that is through 2 groups of practice.
Go back down.
Corey LaJoy, Danielle Trotta back live with you. What stands out to you looking at this racetrack?
So it's just that, it's the racetrack. I saw the times were so much faster after we had that caution. You know, we talked about it beforehand. I think it's a preview for every restart tomorrow night. I think the rubber's going to pick up. The track's going to be fast. We got a glimpse of that in practice. I think that's going to play out all night. As we watch the track, you can see here on this time lapse, you know, the rubber picks up, and then under caution, or when a car goes slow, it pulls the rubber back off. But Corey, as a driver out there, you know, did they learn anything right there?
Well, you're always learning something on the racetrack. I think what I picked up the most is how Jeremy Bowen says being in Group 2 is that much more an advantage because they can get that bullseye. They're trying to optimize that setup down because they know their team is in Group 1. They can adjust it, get closer to that long run. But what I don't like, I think the 67 with that metric draw going out first, we're in a 30.01 in practice. I'm curious how slow this racetrack is as it gets picked back up. I would hate to be going out early this week.
But that's going to be a story all night tonight. You know, with this resin, you know, we talked to lay down concrete. They're trying to get that rubber to build up, and it's trying to make this.
I'm not trying to
So I thought that was pretty.
climb the rock and trying to turn around
There's
here.
nothing slow about Tyler Reddick, and that 45 team needs something good. After the championship 4 appearance for that group a year ago, what a quiet start to the first half of the regular season it's been for Tyler. Good to see him with speed here.
Well, I've been calling 45 all week, and I called the one last week. You can't win them all. You don't win the first one, so I'm gonna try to go 2 for 2. I picked the 45 this week. Talking with Billy Scott, his crew chief in the hall this morning, a little bit of a slump, but this is the day. Tomorrow they're gonna turn around.
Yeah, talking to Dave Rogers, Vinny, the guys at Toyota. I mean, everybody's pouring, like we said, tons of tools, resources into this. Does the hair help? In your history, like your experience, does that haircut help?
I can speak from experience. That hair just weighs you down. It's a high drag. You get a little bit of rear downforce, that thing flapping in the breeze, but it doesn't. It's not slowing down Tyler Reddick right now. Keep it growing, big guy. You need a little texture in that thing, though. It's like kind of straight.
I'll make sure our hair girl Lynn brings some product down to
Lynn, go get him dialed.
We'll work on the mullet a little bit. For more, not on the mullet, let's send it over to Trevor Bay.
Well, we can see your old hand gestures on the screen here. He said they've got to be talking about my hair. So, Tyler, how much speed does come from your hair? They want to know.
It depends on who you ask in my family, but no, I think the speed, obviously, it's no secret. It's the men and women at 2311. Still to travel on the road crew, and everybody's back at airspeed. So, yeah, it's really nice to be in Nashville. First time having the beautiful financial partners on the car. They've been with me for a long time in my racing career. So, it's great to have the car here at Nashville, and it's nice to be able to go out there and practice and show the firearm pace, but also have just good handling and good average, I guess, speed, if we call it that.
Yeah, you mentioned that you're top of the board pretty much in every category, but with the field being so tight, very little fall off, we know qualifying is going to be important. Do you have what you need here, and what does it take for a good qualifying lap in Nashville?
Well, I somehow did it in practice, and it didn't really feel extraordinary, so yeah, I think everybody's going to be trying to push to run the ultimate lap, and yeah, we'll just see. I think the bumps in 3 and 4 are going to bite people, and it did a few in practice so far today, but yeah, you just got to execute the lap, make sure you hit your marks, and it's easier to do that when you have Toyota Camrys, not Stars.
Awesome, Tyler. Thank you, and good luck qualifying.
Time now to figure out who's going to start on the pole for the Cracker Barrel 400. For those watching on Facebook and YouTube, coverage continues. Live video with qualifying getting underway in a matter of moments. NASCAR on Prime live at Nashville Super Speedway.
All right, so we are done.
88 miles per hour. Yeah, that seems so serious. Guess who's back? Check me out.
The best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Still the beat bang, still doing my thing. Since I left, ain't too much change. And even when I was close to defeat,
Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get the track up to the road. I'm gonna see if I can hire a worker to
That's my team out there.
have to go to the main menu.
Our Toms have to work.
Well, the mission won't.
That's why we partnered with Verizon Frontline, the network that truly prioritizes first responders.
So we don't worry about getting through. And they're the most reliable 5G network in America.
Out here, reliability is everything.
Extreme or routine, Verizon Frontline delivers.
The #1 network choice in public safety. Learn more. Your mission is our purpose.
This is supposed to be a quick little weekend house.
Drown me on. There's my special guy. Did you make any friends?
We fix things. We stop bad guys. Nobody stops them.
And today, we have the privilege of conning the scum of the scum.
This is gonna be fun.
Got him going.
It's just a day's work.
A little Gunny and Bubba discussion on the pit lane part of qualifying here with Nashville before we
We'll do the same thing with the truck.
Let's go back downstairs. Danielle and the fellas with a special guest.
He certainly is, and a fan favorite for sure, Double A. Thanks. Let's welcome him in, boys. Round number 16, Colic Racing Chevrolet, AJ Allmendinger, coming by. Congrats on the solid top 5 last weekend at Charlotte.
Got my family behind me. They were cheering for me. They got the payment this week, so that's
All
good.
3 people in your family?
Yeah.
They're all
But no, it was last week was a much needed great run. I felt like we had a lot of speed from practice on, and besides, Ross is probably a little bit happier than me, but other than that, I don't know if there's anybody happy with me after the race. We executed great, and it's just an all-around great night. And yeah, I mean, about lap 270, I thought I probably needed Carl Edwards as my trainer because my back started locking up. I was like, I'm getting too old for this.
We talked about AJ Wolfen front, by the way. That thing's been really tremendous last week. We talked about pile up over there to Charlotte. You look at it's not 270. You got 130 left, but oh my God, it's ever gonna end.
Yeah, I don't know if the stage breaks make it better or worse because you're just running 100 laps at a time, 100 laps at a time. In the past I've been there where you feel like, you run 250 laps and the caution comes out, you're like, man, this race got to be almost over. You look up and it's like lap 120. You're like, yeah, how long have I been out here? So I don't know if the stage breaks.
Might have to
like, well, that was 100 laps. If it's better or worse, but yeah, it's when you have a
redo
race
that.
like that, it makes that race a lot of fun.
You didn't drive that thing like an old guy though. You drove it down like a young buck last week, buddy. Good job.
It was unbelievable. And you said, like, I shouldn't use the word demoralizing. You look up there. You could have had kind of a worse day. You still come up here, you're smiling, you're having fun. And I listened or read a little bit about your team, talking about you as a leader. How do you take today, all the things that happened? We can talk about something.
Alright, so guys, I'm going to
How important is that to you? Well, I mean, it's just
get off a little bit. I need to get something to eat and do some chores around the house, and then we will continue. Now we're going to start doing some tree harvesting. We'll go down the next street.
Transmission down. They don't come here just blow and you're like, man, nothing I can do about it now.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, the most fun guy ever.
They'll
California cool.
They'll check the RPM range and, you know, can't fix it anyway. So it's this track's, it's not like rough, but it's just got a lot of little undulations in it. And, you know, you're running into the max RPM as you go to upshift. And I'm not crazy. Pop it back into a false neutral, but makes a good lap time afterwards. So this all up after that.
It would be such a shame. NASCAR's had more penalties maybe coming, Avery, because you're in the playoff picture. I mean, what an impressive start to the season. We talk about the Coke 600. I feel like that's just the start. You're 17th in points, really close to a postseason berth.
Yeah, I mean, it's to be that close, really. We've had 3 races this year where we've scored 1 point. You know, we've had 3 DNFs. But, you know, for the most part, we've brought a lot of speed to the racetrack. There's only been a couple of races where it felt like we just wanted speed. So I actually don't even really look at the points. Like, the only time I see the points during the week is our social media people post them, and I'm like, oh, I saw the points. Other than that, I just know if you got your run well, the points will take care of themselves.
Actually, we talk about how important qualifying is. It's more important now than ever with pit road selection, track racing, and all the things. One of the hardest things for me is to go from race pace to then reach your line and know you gotta go run 5 or 6 things faster. So how do you go shift on practice pace to that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this car's not as hard as the old car because, you know, the old car, right, we used to tape up and we kind of throw in all kinds of qualifying adjustments and you just kind of knew, okay, like, we're going to have to run anywhere from a half a second to a second faster. Here, you just kind of do your qualifying deltas. In the cars, you know, usually there's a little bit more grip in qualifying, but it's not like you got to go all of a sudden and reset your mind to go run. You know, and especially at the end of a practice, you know, there's times you have to go run 2 seconds faster. So it's just part of it. You go out there and I'll throw it off in the corner and hopefully the people can go to Texas Chevy will stick. And if not, I'll make good TV for you guys.
Any concerns with the car before qualifying? Car filled in?
I felt fine. There's always concerns about the things sitting in the driver's seat, so we'll just go work on that.
Knucklehead.
Finish it up so Celsius will lay
Oh
on.
yeah, I got Celsius here, so I'm going to be jacked up for it, so be ready to go.
Adam, let's send it back up to you.
Corey and the Dinger on the same set is a dangerous game, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Throw in Carl. And Daniel just turned the pot a little bit. Goes back. Corey and I, the first car out, quickest was 29. 89, losing the second here, Zane Smith. 49.76. J.J. Yates, Chad Bishop also hitting the track. Those who push 4 cars in qualifying. Next game of the weekend, Tootsie's and Max Suarez said if I win, I might just drive straight down to Tootsie's to celebrate a very popular establishment here in Nashville.
It'd be rude for us not to go with him. I mean, it'd just really be rude. If he wins,
See you there.
yeah, like, if he wins and we don't go celebrate with him, that's just, you know, very rude.
His lap in practice, ran a 96 in practice, 76 here. Let's see what the 99 of Daniel Suarez can do. That was very telling how AJ talked about that shit that go badly. It sounded like, you know, maybe I just wasn't as committed to be Suarez 29.
So we'll just have to give the grapes time, see if they actually start growing. They should be growing.
I think a 30, yeah.
lap for sure. Carson was 8th in practice with a 29.86. He found a little bit of time, almost got a miss. It looked like right there on turn 2, but he checked.
The tractor's good down here. I'm surprised.
You got everything.
I mean, the visor up. Every time we go on board Carson, the visor's up. Intensity in a qualifying lap. And this time at equal speed. Top of the board, 77.
All right.
Host of our 29.75.
So the guys in the desk did a really nice job with the timeline.
Yeah.
It shows you how much the
When we get back on, we are going to start harvesting trees, selling logs, and try to make some money. So, feel free to join back. We'll be back on at no later than 8 o'clock.
Yeah, you think the rubber doesn't racetrack.
So, feel free to join, and hopefully we will see you then. Hey, Hodge.
That'll improve as they pick up the rubber and the cars continue. Those cars slowed down.
I'm going to get back on here in about another 2 hours, probably about 8 o'clock. So give me time to get something to eat and get the yard mowed, and then I will be back on.
Well, he knows what that lap time felt like. So now if you say you're going to go run a little quicker than that, or
I wasn't on that long. I was on and off maybe 30, 40 minutes.
mental clock to kind of understand how hard you have to go and what's the target.
But hopefully we will see you then. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in a few.